Welcome to the Center of Light Radio with spiritual teacher, intuitive, musician, composer, and best-selling author of The Divine Principle, Anchoring Heaven on Earth, your host, Keith Anthony Blanchard.
Coast to coast, pole to pole, all around the world on the internet, thanks to the marvel of technology, I am coming at you live. That's right, live from my little guest house in Memphis, Tennessee. This is Keith Anthony Blanchard, and you are listening to Center of Light Radio, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement, the superhighway to knowledge for that which is most important, and I deem that to be you. You are important to me. Hello, chat room, Dana, Don Danny, and Pro, and all you awesome people. I'm getting to the computer a little late. I had a major update and it got down to the wire and I'm razzled. But I think this show is really going to put me in a really nice position. I have a wonderful guest. We'll get to that shortly. It parallels with a lot of my life. And so I'm really, really keyed up. If you go to YouTube and you look up Center of Light Radio, you can do me, your host of Center of Light Radio, a really big favor. Subscribe to my channel. Also, if you look at some of the archives there, the video archives, which I make myself, really, really cool looking stuff. It's not just an audio from that point. And it becomes a video archive. Check that out. Give me a thumbs up on any particular interview that you may really enjoy. And also a comment would be like really, really sweet. Let me tell you about my RPM program. RPM, it's my lifelong work. I put many years into the development of this program. It's a yearly program, once a month. I'll send you an installment, workbooks, personal messages, information that you can use to not only better your life, but to begin to learn the process of deliberate creation, to a mode of expansion. It's not about fixing yourself. You're not broken. I'm not here to fix you, but it's to empower you with the tools that you need so you can begin to beat your feet towards your bliss, the purpose you were born to be ecstatic, and to spread that light throughout the world and help make this a little better place. I do provide some services. I've been speaking for many years, doing presentations all over. If you need speaking services, you can contact me. I do spiritual readings, live coaching. And also, if you have some boogeymen, some squatters in your house, some ghosts, some people who are just not welcome there and they're not paying rent and you want them out, make sure you contact me at KeithAnthonyBlanchard@gmail.com for those services, and let me know what it is you might be needing. If it's something to do with some entities in your house, I can show you how to empower yourself by first looking within to see why this is happening, and also some other really cool things that will help elevate your energy, the energy of your home, that will make these things just dissipate and finally leave you alone. If you go to centeroflightradio.com, on the bottom of the opening page, the right-hand side, you will see a subscription form. Fill that out. I send out a monthly powerful newsletter about health, spiritual expansion, messages from divine beings. I put a lot of research into what I do. And I'm really confident that because it expands me inside, I think I know, I have a pretty good grasp of who I am. So that in turn, I would like to give those gifts to you so that you may have some expansion and some openings in your life that maybe you hadn't before. Swamiji Viswayogi, God Realized Man, I did get wind that he's coming to town soon. I will keep you updated on that. To call into the show today, dial 888-919-2355, 888-919-2355. Remember, if you're not at home or by your computer and you want to hear your favorite show, go to the App Store on your phone. Download the Inception Radio Network app. Why not? It's free. Everything is right there in your hand at your control. Chat room, listen, live link, news, podcasts, much more. There are many ways to connect to Center of Light and Inception Radio Network. That's for sure. And now, drum roll. It's time to get down to Center of Light Radio business. As I said before, I have a fantastic show for you. This show is going to be, quote, out there. Or in there, rather. My guest today on Center of Light Radio is Nicole Bowdler. Let me tell you a bit about Nicole. An angel incarnated to help humanity. Archangel Metatron introduced himself in 1994 to be of service to this beautiful spirit. It was then she understood her path would be one of conscious human development and learning directly from the angelic realm. He would teach her about all realities and timelines concerning this dimension and others. Her work with Metatron together has been one of love and unity consciousness. Metatron is an astute teacher who guides his students upon self realization rather than hierarchy. Dig that. Together, Nicole and Metatron have helped thousands globally through personal sessions, channeled workshops, and group activations. She and Metatron love to help people regain their confidence in self and understand who they are and who they have come here to be. Welcome to Center of Light Radio, Nicole Bowdler.
Oh, thank you. That was such an amazing introduction. I was getting excited. That was awesome.
Between the excitement and just being razzled about trying to hurry this computer along, I think I might be spent. So I'm going to let you take the floor. Nicole, how did all this come about for you? I'm sure as a little girl, you didn't see yourself having conversations with the Godhead.
Yeah. To say
How did this
the
happen
least.
for you, darling?
Okay, so in 1994, and Metatron has had me pinpoint that exact time in my incarnation. I was 14 years old, and it was the first time I attempted suicide. And literally, he stepped on my stream, as I like to put it, and put an end to that. I remember him coming into my room, putting my mind at ease. I had taken a bottle of pills. It was a very traumatic situation at such a tender age. And then he takes me beyond that into when I was about 2 or 3 years old. I had many ET visits, many incarnations with spirit. And all the while, they're always teaching me the facts of life, so to speak, who you are, who you've come here to be, and how you're going to help people. And so that's really how it formulated its path. For me, it's been a lot of self-realization. It's been a matter of who am I in the grander scope of things? Who are we? What are we doing here? Why are we here? And when are we going home? So it's a myriad of questions. And that's really where the bulk of my work centers around, is helping people navigate life to their own accord, whatever that means.
How did you come about integrating, having him sit within you, overlaying you, superimposed on you? How did that actually come about? Did he say, very soon in the near future, you're going to start feeling like there's two people inside me instead of what you know is you, and you're going to let your mouth move? How did that all begin?
Oh, okay. So the trance mediumship, that began, I would say, around 5 years ago. I was working as a medium, and I had totally jumped out of 3D, and I had been, I have a background in business development, marketing. I worked in the treatment industry, drug and alcohol counselor, like the whole thing. And I was just very upset with life, so to speak. So in October of 2010, I was at a workshop for a marketing event. I believe I think I was in Dallas. I don't know, it's Florida, it doesn't matter. And I remember just being so upset with my life. I was like, there has to be more to this. And God, if there's not, like, I'm jumping off the planet now. See, I always, I'm very dramatic. I'm very much like in Aries. That's my sun sign. And it's all or nothing with me. Like, I'm either going to get it straight, we're going to figure this thing out, or I'm totally just jumping off the planet. And so they came to me in meditation and prayer, and I had already had a many-year practice of meditation and prayer. Had been something that is very much in my life since I was about the age of 24. At this time now, I'm 30, and 3D, so to speak, and what I refer to as 3D is just like going to work, paying my bills, paying my taxes, and going home at night wasn't really cutting it for me. So I needed to develop a deeper spiritual practice with myself, with God, with the angels, with whatever was out there. And so in 2010, that happened. I received the message that they were going to be changing my work. and that I was going to be working closer with spirit. And I did not know what that meant. I lost my job in March of 2011, and I was catapulted into readings, doing energy work, spirit removal, just like you said, extraterrestrial contact, which I had much of that growing up. And so it kind of put everything to pieces. And now, mind you, very much a conscious medium where I can go into somebody's field. I can see past, present, future. Like what was happening is every time I'd meet somebody, I would get their full life story without them even saying a word. Past, present, future, why they've incarnated, what's happening here. And I did not understand what this information was doing. And then I started to notice their loved ones in spirit that were hanging around. And I was like, whoa, maybe I could like help them, talk to them, see how I can be of service. And so I did that for a very, very long time. What I wanted to do and why I wanted to go deeper with my work was because I wanted the angels just to talk to people directly. People were longing for that connection of self, but also for that connection of the divine. And they were really just maybe kind of sick of like the traditional ways and were looking for something else. Or it was around the time that a lot of stuff had come out about certain organizations and we're just not feeling good. So my work then began to help others tap into this consciousness within themselves, as well as teaching them how to do it for themselves. And so it was developing a closer relationship with self, but also a closer relationship to God, creator, source energy, however they see that, on whatever level. And then I just wanted to get out of the way. I was like asking God again in prayer and meditation, because that's how I do that. And I was just saying there has to be a way where you can actually talk to these people and I can kind of get out of the way, because I feel like when I'm just a messenger and I'm a translator and I'm a conscious channel, my ego may get in the way, or my thinking mind, rather, not ego of the great I am, but ego thinking mind, my analytical mind may get in the way, and maybe I'm messing the messages up and they're not as pure as I think or I want them to be. So I met a woman in Sedona, and at this time I had moved back and forth between Philadelphia and Sedona quite a lot. I could not make up my mind. It was driving my friends and family crazy. Now I know that's part of my spiritual journey. And I just kept going back and forth. And every time I would go to Sedona, I would run into these amazing people who were just, I want to say, just a part of the play, because we're all part of this grand play here that we're having on Earth and also in other dimensions. And I met this man, his name is Ron Bacon, and it was at a time when I was not really, I want to say my family was still getting used to the fact of me as a medium. And he was a gentleman, and we had a 2-hour drive back to Sedona from the airport. And he was telling me about his daughter. And his daughter had been doing this work, and she is a trance medium. And I was like, that's interesting. And that she has very astute gifts, has been just tested. When I say tested, I mean that she's been hooked up to electrodes and things of that nature to see what happens to her body. They've written books on her where she goes into such a deep place of trance that her heart stops beating, that her pulse, goes away. There's phenomena that happens within her body. And I was just like, whoa, because she loved God so much and wanted to be so close to God, the angel spirit, and just allow them to use her physical vessel for transmission of the energy. The benefit of going in the trance is that when I get out of the way, it is a direct transmission of source energy. As I am right now talking to you, your listeners, it is also a transmission. We are all transmitting love to one another. When I get out of the way of complete and I lift up out of my body, they have an opportunity to, I call it, move the matrix around you, where they get to because you're saying that this is okay, and that they get to go into your auric field and kind of move things around for your personal matrix, whatever, maybe things that were blocked, things that you maybe needed to move, you maybe needed a little push of encouragement, maybe you needed a little tuning up with your spiritual gifts, whatever that is. Some people really like to see spirit, some people like to just feel things, some people want to connect multidimensionally. So there's all these benefits. So long story short, I know I'm going on and on, but I'm just so honored to have met this woman. So I met her and I saw her work, and she literally changed my life. She was the catalyst. She was a very beautiful woman. I had never met anyone. She resembled very much my features, and she looked like an older sister of mine. And she had been doing it for so long, and she was normal. Like everybody, I had these weird ideas sometimes that if I just channel for the rest of my life, that I'm going to be looked at as crazy, that I have this crystal ball, that I'm doing fortune telling, like all these weird ideas. Yes. And so she just really helped open the door for that. And I began what is this trance coaching, to where she taught me how to literally lift up and out of my body so spirit could, spirit was already there, but really get into the vibration of me and allow this energy to touch people and to touch their lives. So I know it's a long-winded answer.
when you first allowed this to happen, how did it feel for you? Strange, just different? You didn't know what to make of it? Are you fully conscious, though you're a conscious channel? Or are you fully present in the body and just out of the way? Or do you somewhat get kind of let's see, a little dreamy because of what's going on?
Yeah. So the first time that it happened, it was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my life.
Whoa.
So yeah. So if you feel like your soul, the way that I can best describe it is you have a piece of your soul inside of the physical vessel that keeps us alive and sitting up straight. Now you're looking to expand beyond that. You're going to take that piece that's in the body and literally expand beyond physicality. So you're flying in other dimensions. Now, through meditation, through other spiritual practices, you may be able to get there, which is perfect. That's what you're doing. But what I was doing is, now I'm going to let another energy take that space inside of my body. So at any given time, you have about 5 to 6 to 7 different energies working on you, because somebody has to keep the heart going, somebody has to keep the lungs going, they have to use the vocal cords, there's facial expressions, my voice changes, it's a whole thing. So when it first happened, sorry, did you want to ask a question? Yeah. So when it first happened, it was excruciating because I was expanding so far out, and then I'm allowing another energy to come in. And it's like, just imagine your best friend wants to get inside of your body, because this is a loving energy. There's nothing dark about it. This is a complete love. That is the other thing too. I was in a ton of pain, but it was the most amount of love I had ever felt in my life. And so now you're talking to your best friend. You're like, hey, I'm going to hop in your body. So when that happens, they have to learn all the bells and whistles of your body. It's not just they pop in and they understand. So I have Metatron in there banging around, and he's a huge energy. If he puts too much of his, I want to say, essence inside of the physical vessel, I could...
You just porphyry.
I would blow up. Yeah.
You would melt.
I would melt. Exactly. So that's why it was very painful. All of my cells were expanding, all like in the physical body, all of the pathways, neurons, the electrodes, everything in my brain was expanding. All of it. My heart, my belly looked like I was pregnant, because they were filling me up.
Actually, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
A new birth happening through you. You have a couple of people, energies that you work with. One is Metatron. And if I do remember correctly, I thought I heard you say something like Honest Abe Lincoln and Tesla. Is that right?
Yes, that is my team. So Tesla, and again, these beings work with all of us. This is just a collective that will come in. Metatron is the energy that is with me all the time. And Abe comes in and out to talk specifically about world affairs, the monetary system, economics, politics. He talks a lot about restructuring, getting things back to the way that it was. So I started getting all of these downloads about the founding fathers and war. And I was like, okay, now I'm a 36-year-old city girl. I'm like, I don't understand why I'm getting this information. How am I going to help people with this? And then Tesla is helping us work on energy devices. We are currently working on that, and that's a little bit of it's been a labor of love because it's allowed me to go deeper into my being, to let go and allow spirit to come in for the greater good of humanity in these different projects that they want to help. They want to help humanity heal. They want to help us get to the next level, and so that we stop destroying planet Earth too. And Metatron has come in to talk about different codes and geometric shapes, and I know that sound is like so overused, and that's another thing he wanted me to really kind of talk about, like patterning in the universal spheres, and we're creating these spheres around us, and it's not so much point A to point C or B equals point C. It's not like that anymore. Everything is very structured, but there's a flow coming in. And so we're learning to be more spherical, more circular, and I'll explain that too. So they're all very different energies. And when I go into trance, you'll know who's talking to you depending on the topic of what they're talking about. Now, Tesla, he again is more of he's a bug in my ear. He doesn't necessarily talk, but he'll give me the equations to create energy devices or to create devices that heal the human vessel. And that's been very interesting for me.
So would you say that it's true that you're an extent, well, obviously, but that you're an extension of Metatron that came to Earth, and at some point, whether you got with the program or not, or was put on your knees, either way, you were going to become a vessel for the energy known as Metatron, yes?
Yeah, yes. Yes.
And so, that being said, we're talking about Metatron here at Center of Light Radio. My name's Keith Anthony Blanchard, your host. My guest, Nicole Bowdler. We have an idea of who Metatron is. It's part of the divine hierarchy, but if we could, just so our listening audience can have a better understanding of who and where does Metatron sit in the hierarchy seat compared to the Godhead. And I don't mean better, higher, low, none of that, but just so people can have an understanding or an idea of what aspect of God is Metatron.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so Metatron, the way that he has explained himself to me, first is he is an archangel, and many would understand him in the human incarnation as Enoch, the prophet, who is in the lineage of Noah, Abraham, and he's actually the great-great-great-grandfather of Noah and Abraham. So let's take religion out of it, and let's just think of creation. So Metatron is one of the energies that created this universe specifically, and he sits at the right-hand seat of the Father. I know that's a very biblical term, but literally sitting to the right of source, creation, Godhead, God, the energy that is within us all. He is also a scribe, meaning I will feel him come into me when he is looking to get a closer eye and ear to the ground, the way that people treat each other, different scenarios. I get put in all kinds of crazy scenarios to see how people react. And when Earth was created, there's all these energies in space-time continuum, and Metatron, now there are other archangels and there's other galactic beings that were creating this as well as through God, and creating Gaia. So without expanding into other galaxies and other dimensions, let's just talk about planet Earth. Creation. Earth is created. Metatron sends part of his energy onto Earth to help with the creation of mankind. That is the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Enoch. Enoch is ascribed to the heavens. Now, I know in in religious texts it says the other way around. That's not how he explains it. He said, "How could I be human and go into angelic realm? I was angelic first." Like it just did not make sense to him. And Metatron is also the energy that holds everything together. So he is the glue, if you will, of humanity.
Very nice.
Yeah, and he is connecting all of us all the time as brothers and sisters of creation, and is about unity consciousness. He is also the recaliber. I will say this, that if something is not in alignment, it will be destroyed. And that I have learned very in a rough way, being the wrath of God. You know, not me, but seeing the wrath of God come through the etheric nature. People are like, "Oh, well, it's angels and it's light and it's fairy and it's airy." I'm like, yeah, and there's another side too, because it needs to happen. So
yeah, a lot of people associate the idea of, quote, destruction, but out of all of that, something else is birthed. You can call it the phoenix. I've had contact with an alien human hybrid for 4 years in the physical, and he told me that there were the lords of light, and he chose not to be a part of this initiation because being a lord of light could mean that as the divine hierarchy, God, whatever, wills forth that whatever civilization may have to be annihilated because it's no longer viable to the program or to the plan.
yes,
And if there's whatever karma, collective karma for that civilization that may have come about, it will be destroyed. But it takes the right mindset and a heart set to step back and see it from a place of, oh my God, did they just annihilate or obliterate an entire race of people? It takes a different kind of way of seeing and being to allow an understanding to come in so one can actually see it from the eyes of love versus a place of destruction and everything bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they're doing right now. They're surveying the land. I know that's why I traveled a lot. I'm involved in a couple situations right now that they're really looking into the financial industry. They're looking into banking. They're looking into the energy. They're looking, and we are their eyes and ears on the ground because they are looking. Is this civilization viable? Can it sustain itself? Can we collectively come back into love? And it's very funny because sometimes with my work, I get pigeonholed into one category or another. And this always really made me upset because I'm like, I never knew that there was an industry around what I did. And I never knew who Metatron was. I had no freaking idea. He literally, if you can imagine, I'm leaving the planet at 14 years old. He steps on my stream and is like, "Oh no, we have big things here to do together." And I'm like, "What?" So he's been like a grandfather. But he will make you work. He does not give things for free.
Well, then how he and I somehow must, well, no, we are, but meaning to make a point, we must be connected because I work my tail off.
Yes. Yes. And so working together and working collectively is the name of the game. It is not a singular action anymore. I get so excited. So you may hear me move around and stuff, and I apologize, but I'm talking with my hands.
Right. We do that. I'm from South Louisiana, and we talk with our hands very loudly.
Okay, good. I'm very passionate. I don't know. So right now they're seeing if we can come together in unity. And I feel like that is the biggest thing I wanted to talk about tonight too, is that it's no more I versus them, and even learning to come back collectively into love consciousness, no matter what is going on. And you're saying, well, people are pillaging, stealing, raping, whatever they're doing, and like how you just said, there is a way that we can look at this instead of it's.
It takes a spiritual grown up.
Yes. 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 So I hope that summed it up. I tend to get long-winded answers with my story with Metatron because it just wasn't one night. It was like many, many years. This has been, like I said, a labor of love. It's been over time. And I've learned a lot about myself because in the beginning, I thought I was just supposed to throw the body and run. Like, hey, they got the body. I can just eject and go hang out in Pallades or something. And they're like, that's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I wanted to be go on a spaceship somewhere. And they're like, oh, no, sister, you have work here. I'm like, man, okay. So.
Nicole, let me stop you there. We're at the bottom of the hour. Would you give out your contact, how our listening audience can find more about you and your awesome work with Metatron and just everything you're about?
Oh, sure. Okay. So my contact is Metatron Angel. So it's Metatron Angel, ANGEL.com.
Keith Anthony Blanchard, your host of Center of Light Radio, Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. You can find myself sitting here in this chair having a blast, that's for sure. Today, my guest is Miss Nicole Bowdler, and we're speaking about channeling the unification of humanity. She receives messages, Metatron, Divine Hierarchy, works through Miss Nicole Bowdler, and it's pretty awesome because, most of my life doing the work I do, when I wrote the Divine Principle, an 8-year project, I was channeling, quote, higher self, God. So I know very much what it's like to be her in this situation. Nicole, are they giving you any inkling, any insight whatsoever, like the sureness or not, whether we are going to reach the goal of unity?
Yeah, well, last week they gave me a trajectory of 20 years. Now, then they said in 5, things are going to implode first, okay? Next 5 years is very interesting. It will be a crash and burn in a good way. So like you were saying, they're getting rid of the old to create the new. So we are going to see a lot of duality, black and white, bad and good, however you see it. If you can just learn to stay neutral in between all of that, you will accelerate yourself and you will let go of the ideas and the belief systems that you have around these events. Then it can just, Mother Earth can recalibrate, the angelic realm can come in, all of our star brothers and sisters, everybody working together can just do their job. That's what they want for humanity.
I like the way you said that. If you can just remain neutral. I look out on social media, Facebook, just like you do, Nicole, and I see all this bipolar swinging going on. And I often make these posts, as you see, and sometimes I will interject on someone else's post when it's negative or ISIS or terrorism or racism. And I post very often is get out of the fight.
Mm-hmm. Stop
fighting the world. Stop fighting the outside illusion, because when you do, you become a part of the problem or a part of that very said illusion. And so I really like your position on that. When we learn to be peaceful, or we learn to be the rock, that's the ticket. That's to not be the slave of what the outside world is trying to influence or pull you into. Yes.
Yeah, completely. So with that, they've also told me this, and I will say this to your viewers or listeners, because they are telling me that we are also losing 20% of our population. That's a lot of people. So my last year has been spent channeling for loved ones that have crossed the veil. And that is happening because it is time. We need people on the other side as well. This is a multidimensional experience. It's just not physicality. And so our loved ones that are going home, and of course, maybe some people have been tuning into celebrities and why are all the greats leaving and things of this nature, because we are accelerating Earth. We are ascending, for lack of a better word, through other dimensions, as well as the other planets and solar systems around us. This is a lot. It is a whole universal sphere. It's not just planet Earth. We would be very foolish to think it is just affecting us.
Right. Nicole, do you think it's possible, if you choose, that we can hear Metatron?
Oh, yes.
And if you do, I listen to this, listening audience. This is just it. Actually, I loved it. It was different for me. I've never heard a channel have this entrance the way Metatron does through Nicole. There's like this big, long siren call that happens. So just a heads up, Nicole, if you do, you might want to just back away from your microphone, just or at least turn your mic away from your speaking the device. But is it we can ask questions, or we just let him speak?
Yeah, well, you can do both. He will announce himself. Not he'll say whatever he needs to say, and then he will direct his attention to you. And depending on how long they tell me to stay in or not, or whatever is happening, it depends on the energy too of the show, and also people that we're talking to, how long I can stay in. They work very quickly.
This is exciting.
Yeah, they work very quickly, and it's a toning, it's a frequency. When it first started happening, it was hilarious. My girlfriends made fun of me. That's all right. It's all in good fun. And I just allowed him to do his thing. So what he's doing is he's literally connecting all of our field, all of our energies together, and he is recalibrating us all at the same time. So I see what he is doing with that. So
awesome.
Okay, here, let me, it just takes a minute for me.
Yeah, take your time, love. We're patient.
Oh, okay, good. Let me just, it was funny. I felt them come in about a half hour before I talked to you, and now, there they are. Okay. Awareness and abundance here, believing in yourself as we are believing in you this lifetime, understanding here you're part and parcel of who you are, who you were, and who you ever will be is surely a testament of this reality. Say here, beautiful spirits, beautiful beings of light, please allow us to sing your praises here, and understanding here that you are indeed part of physicality. You are part of this reality. You are part of the show. There is not one of you that has been forgotten. There is not one of you that has stolen the show. You are all part of the grander whole of things. You're all part of spirit. You're part of the divine. You're part of God. You're part of me. I am part of you. We are here together to understand one another, to love, to hear each other, to understand our part and parcel, our part of who we are and our parcel of who we have come here to be. And understanding in this reality, all things are changing here. You are understanding here that your reality has been flipped upside down, turn around and turn back over again. It has been quite a show here. We are understanding here that you are in an effect here. You're in a mirror effect here. You're understanding that things in your reality are showing up at this time to show you exactly who and what you have come here to be. That every moment, every conversation, every interaction with your child here, with every interaction of a breath, my dear, this is part of your show. It is no longer waiting to get off work so that the show may begin, or understanding that when I'm sleeping, I am escaping the show. No, not indeed, my dear. It is about bringing closer energies together and understanding your dance here, as you call it, a civilization, and understanding here your part with spirit. How is spirit, your spirit, my spirit, our spirit interacting with one another? Are we sending vibrations of hate and wonderment? Are we sending hierarchy? Are we sending love? Are we sending truth? Are we sending discernment? What are we thinking about? What is happening in our brain at this time? How about your internal vibration? Are you vibrating love? Are you vibrating fear? And you would say to us, well, Metatron, I cannot be in love all the time. And surely you can. You can be in love, and you can be in wonderment, and you can be in joy. And you can understand here that your heart is part of that. That when you are open to receive the message, and when you are open to your incarnation, There is nothing out of your reach. There is nothing. There is nothing here but time and space. All time and space in your reality. So we say here, it is simply a game of wonderment and joy. And when you discern that you are farther away from your truth than being in it, well, my dear, that is your discernment, not ours. You are right where you are supposed to be. So would you understand here, and would you have questions for us today, please?
I have a question, Metatron. Thank you for being here. What is it we as people, humans, can do more to bring about the goal of unity among the people on the earth? Actively.
Here, we are saying congratulations first and foremost, my dear, for you have done a wondrous job in allowing us to come through the channel tonight. So we are thanking you and understanding here we are loving you so much. So, as we say here, every time you are meeting a spirit enclosed in physicality, every time you are meeting yourself, say, would I like this sort of rubbish spoken about me? Or would I like to be known simply as the man in kindness, in my heart? Do I see myself in other beings? That is the quickest way, my dear. When you see yourself in those that are hurting, all those that are being in love, and you can understand that they are human too, even when they are not doing the things here that you would understand in your world as being good. And even when they are harmful, my dear, and as the channel here did say, keeping a poise of neutrality, and you say, well, Metatron, if we are to do that, and we are keeping ourselves here in the vessel and looking at our brothers and sisters and feeling for them, yes, my dear, but it is a recognition of spirit within, the divine within. It is not going within their coffers and taking on their karma, so to speak, and that is another word we are looking at closely, but not taking on their problems as to solve it, but just understand that you are together, hand in hand.
Thank you, Metatron. I have a question from the chat room from Don Danny, who asked, he said that he had a contact with a channel of an entity by the name of Michael. Are you aware of this energy?
Yes, my dear. Are you referring to here Archangel Michael?
I'm not sure unless he types it really soon. I'm thinking it might not be Archangel. Don Donnie, would you respond, please?
Well, as we see here, there are many spirits that are looking to come in through the vessel, a willing vessel, my dear. So as you sit here and you understand that archangel energy is all the same vibration, my dear, just at a different rate. We are all together. We are working in collectives here on your planet. As you would understand here in the channel, she has her own collective that she is working with. And other beings that channel Metatron here, that would be a different collective. So as to understand your question, would we know Michael? Well, the question is yes, because he is here with us. We are him, he is us. But to get more detailed, as we know your human beings like to be, if you are referring to another entity specific in your collective, well, we cannot pinpoint him at this time, but we are telling you that we are all part of the whole, my dear. It is all the same to us.
What can we do as spiritualists, as people who are waking up to protect ourselves? And when I ask the question about protecting ourselves, I don't mean out of fear. I mean truly out of duty and responsibility so that we can stay anchored here and continue to do the work of light.
Yes, my dear. So as we are looking here in your vibration is your work. We often tell here the channel to not worry about things that go bump in the night. It is not necessary, as you understood that lesson. But truly, it is keeping your vibration up. It is remembering who you are and who you have come here to be. It is knowing in your heart It is a reverberation of sound. It is a feeling through your fingertips. It is a knowing in your mind. It is all reverberating in the sphere. So you would say here, well, when I am going up against matters that I do not want my hand to be in, but they are here and they are part of it. And we would say, call upon us here to be with you. But also, my dear, you do not need protecting, as we are here as guides. And through your reverberation of understanding who you are and thinking of yourself as sitting outside of the sphere, if you are outside of the universal sphere of third dimensional reality with all its bells and whistles, and you are radiating in love from a higher perspective, there will be no harm that come to you. The only harm is when you drop out of frequency and you forget who you are, and you play along with your human games here, and understanding that you are less of something, or you are lacking in some way, which you are not.
What would be a final message that Metatron would like to leave with Center of Light Radio so we can take with us and begin to implement it in our lives so we can expand and in turn send that wave, that ripple out into the world to, again, do what we were called here to do, which is to help elevate global energy?
My dear, so many beings here are looking for purpose. They are saying, if I find my purpose, then I will know who I am. And while this is part of the question, the understanding that you have already come here to know physicality, so by that action alone, you know who you are. It is hidden in your heart, and it is up to you to understand it and love it and be with it. And if you get mad, you get mad. And if you disagree, you disagree. And just not hiding yourself anymore and showing the world exactly who you are will allow your truth to sing, and then your whole reality will change. So as we are looking into the sphere, into the universal nature of God, and all things are connected, when you reverberate your truth to the world has no option but to reverberate it back to you, your truth and who you are. So, my dear, we would like to tell all of you, you are perfect beings of the divine. We are loving you so very much, my dear, and we are gracious and enjoying this transmission tonight. So thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you greatly.
Hey.
Nicole, I want to catch you while you're still in the experience and the energy that's lingering. What do you feel like in this moment, and what was it like for you during the experience? Like I asked earlier, and I think we got sidetracked. Does it feel somewhat dreamy to you?
It does. I'm very much watching colors and shapes and dimensions as they're talking to you. It's kind of, I'm like distracted. Do you know what I mean? And so, yes, it's very much, it feels like everything's below me. I'm in this
I get it. I get the image you're drawing, yes. And not below you meaning that, but below you meaning that you somehow operating on a frequency that is not just so physical and solid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I enjoyed it, that's for sure.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of my path. And when I started doing this, I had people leaving my experience in droves. And little did I realize, years later, those same people returned for knowledge and input and information about how to make their lives better.
Yeah. It's been quite a journey. A lot of that fluctuations in and out, and it's perfect. That sounds so cliche, but it really is. Now that I'm okay with it, I wasn't okay with it in the beginning. Now that I'm satisfied in who I am, I know who I am, and I don't I don't, not that I don't care, but I'm kind of just like over it, trying to say, oh, do you like me? Do you love me? Am I still okay? Will you validate me? That's not really who I am. So I know that I am always in integrity. I'm always doing the best that I can, and I'm always in love. And my reason for doing this work was born out of love. It was born out of desperation, truly, because of all the trauma. But through that is because I loved God so much.
Nicole, from the chat room, Kat wants to give you a message, and I was going to give you the same message and resound what you just said. She says, "Wow, Nicole, thank you. Very brave to be you, and you just talked about this. I know what it's like to step off that diving board. I'm no longer in a place in my life where I require validation, nor did I really back then when it first started. When I heard Keith go sit on the sofa and press record, and then I didn't have the siren go off. But the siren did go off inside of my being. But that being said, when I had to tell somebody, I just couldn't be quiet. Not because I wanted recognition, because I had to tell somebody. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe some recognition is what I wanted. But that being said, I no longer require that. But that first telling to someone, the first 10, 15, 20, heck, even 50 people, to me, was the equivalent of diving out of an airplane, a perfectly good airplane with a parachute. There is a brave jump there and it's not about, I need you to validate me. It's, this is new territory now. I have to understand that some people are going to come at you with this finger and this how dare you attitude. And it's about, how am I going to balance this out in my life, because I've never had to do such a thing. Is that how you would describe it for you?
Yes, it really is. Right now I'm learning to balance physicality with just being in spirit all the time. That's what I mean. Metatron literally had to walk me back to my body because I didn't want to return. Because when you're in that space of unconditional love, yeah,
it's delicious.
Oh God, it is better than anything I've ever experienced.
Have you ever found yourself, Nicole, this happened to me, and it also happens to Lee Carroll and a few other conscious channels. Sometimes when I would go into channel mode, this has been many years ago, and I've done it once or twice here and there just for the fun of being a conscious channel in channeling mode, I would get this packet of information and my mouth starts to move, right? And I'm getting to a little dreamy state, kind of like you described as well. And all of a sudden I go into this like 2-minute bawling, this 2-minute crying spell that I have no control, no way of stopping it. Did you ever experience that?
Yes. David Bowie came through me one day, and that's been very weird. Not weird, but I'm blessed. I am very grateful that he came through. It was the weirdest thing that I experienced, though. I was crying for an hour straight, and I was trying to tell my boyfriend that David Bowie was like coming through, and he was crying. So he had a mess, and that's on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my website, there's a link for my YouTube channel. He's bawling for humanity.
What's the entity's name that came through?
David Bowie.
Who is this?
David Bowie. You know David Bowie.
Oh, David Bowie. I thought you said David Belly.
No. Okay, that's my Philadelphia accent, my Northeastern accent. David Bowie, Starman,
I know him very well, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I've had other spirits come through me like that, and they are very upset, or they have a thing to say, and so getting that message across is very pertinent for them. It's very so to answer your question, yes, that's when I realized, wow, this is much bigger than me.
So Nicole, other than channeling, what else do you do in the realm of spirituality? Do you do life coaching? Do you do readings? I mean, of course you do readings when you go into that mode, but what other field do you dabble in? Let me ask you this way. What else about spirituality you really get a kick out of, other than what you're doing here in Center of Light Radio today? Is there another field that you're really, really curious and dabble in?
Oh, well, I love yoga. I absolutely love yoga. And that is a lifestyle. It's not, for me, it's a lifestyle. It's mind, body, spirit. It's all of it. And I really, really enjoy yoga. Other than that, I live on the beach. I walk on the beach every day. I've been blessed to be in very conscious communities, meaning not that everywhere can't be conscious. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that through my work, I've been able to live in Vegas, in Sedona, Philadelphia. I'm in Florida right now. I'm about to go to Texas. So my work has just taken me everywhere, and I've met so many amazing people. So that would be the other thing, is that Metatron and I go to communities where this work is needed and where the light is needed. And so that really makes me happy.
Well, since he's listening, if you want to lean on my life a little, please do so. I've always said, you can tell the level of connection, conscious connection to spirit, by what is being reproduced in the spiritual is life. For example, we all heard the scripture. You can tell them by their fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if someone is living a life of ease, a life of magic, a life of miracles, least effortlessly, things are happening. You can move about the world. You can make money doing it. You can see far out places. To me, that is the alignment being visible of the individual spirituality. You can look at someone and seeing that they're aligned by the reflection of their life. It speaks for itself.
Oh, yeah. I have so many friends, and now I'm working on international places. But so many invites all over the world where people just want to open their home and heart and just want me to stay and help the community. And so I just go to the next place. Now we're going to Austin. So I'll be hitting Austin next, and I can't wait for that. Live music every night, partying, hanging out, meeting people. On. Yeah. So
let me ask you this. Let's get quote real. Not that you haven't been.
Yes, really.
Miss Spiritual Lady Nicole Bowdler. Does Nicole Bowdler party?
Yeah. Oh, do you mean like drink party. Or smoke weed or yeah?
Just whatever that other people would see as, how can these two beings come together, being so spiritual and allowing this divine energy to come through, but yet may have a cigarette, may have a marijuana cigarette, may drink a shot of tequila, which I have been known to do quite often.
Absolutely. And I enjoy every minute of it. Metatron has explained to me that different vibrations within the specific substance that you're using, whether it's a chocolate bar, a pot, a joint, a glass of beer, whatever, cigarette, whatever you're using is your recalibration of your energy field. And so I've really taken that because, in my younger years, I did experiment with harder drugs, and I always got down on myself about that. And I was like, how could God choose me? Really, I'm out here not being good to myself, and that's a whole nother show. But as I'm older, I'm 36 now, and I go out with my boyfriend and enjoy a beer. I smoke a cigarette at night because I do a lot of channeling, and to come back into physicality, that tobacco from that cigarette is so good.
I've heard that many times. I have a friend of mine. One of his best friends says, because he is such a high stratosphere living person, in order to ground himself, he has to smoke.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Nicole, sadly, we are at the top of the hour. Give me an outgoing message for our listening audience, something you'd like to leave us with. You got about 45 seconds, if you would, dear. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Just never give up on yourself. You're the prize. Never give up.
Everyone, Nicole Bowdler, thank you for being a wonderful, powerful guest here on Center of Light Radio.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Thank you to everyone.
You're welcome here anytime, dear. Everyone, Nicole Bowdler, what a phenomenal guest. Remember when you lay down at night. Breathe in and out, in and out, in and out like you want something beyond you have always known. And when you breathe from that perspective, something very delicious is really going to happen to you. And you will find out after about 10 minutes of doing so. Every Monday night, my guest next week is going to be Angelica Rose. She is an angel walk-in messenger. See you then. Peace, love, and light. Ease into bliss. Good evening.